Let's learn about sake. Kanpai! Oh! Hello, folks, people of the internet. I am a huge fan of sushi, and every time I go to my favorite sushi place, I always get the house sake. Sometimes I get it chilled, sometimes I get it hot. And that is the extent of what I know about sake. I did 2 minutes of research. I'm going to give you a nice preamble, and we're going to get right into tasting. Sake is an alcoholic beverage made from rice. You polish the rice, you remove the bran, ferment it, and there you got it. Now, some sakes are very, very filtered. Some sakes are unfiltered. Some sakes have rice that is more polished. Some sakes have rice that is less polished. Genjo and Dai Genjo are both more polished sakes, whereas Nigori is the most unfiltered of them all. I think I have some examples of all of them, but I'm not entirely sure because much of the label is in Japanese. So, I will let my taste buds do the deciding. One last thing on sake. On each and every single bottle, except for one of them, there is an SMV, the sake meter value. And what is the sake meter value? That is the density of the sake in relation to water. It's almost like how you would talk about a dry wine or a sweet wine. Well, they have a value for that in a way they can actually measure it. It goes all the way up to 15 and all the way down to negative 15. Negative 15 being the sweetest, positive 15 being the driest. My knowledge of sake is now completely and 100% utterly exhausted. We might as well start trying them. So, what are we going to begin with? We are going to begin with, oh dear, this one. This one is green. I got all of these from my local corner store. I don't think every corner store or bodega will have a sake selection such as this, but most Total Wines will. And occasionally you'll find some at some ABC stores or whatever it is in your state. This is Okanumatsu. And I believe it is a Genjo Sake. Now, I do not have a traditional sake set here because I wanted to demonstrate the clarity of each individual sake with my clear, state-of-the-art shot glasses. Each one I'm going to give a little sippy sip and then a big gulp. We'll see how it is. Well, right off the bat, it's very bready in its nose, as they say in wine. What is the SMV of this one? It is exactly neutral. Now, technically, like with pH, nothing can ever be so easy. The neutral pH is 7. Well, apparently the average SMV for sake is positive 3. And this one is 0, so it'll be slightly sweeter than normal. But not too much. That's very nice. I'm having all of these chilled. Supposedly, the ways that you can hide bad sake is to serve it super cold or super hot. These are slightly chilled to bring out the flavors as best I can. And that's just super nice. It's almost like a really light candy. The flavor doesn't really bowl you over. It's very berry-like, if that makes sense. Like if you've ever had a haichu, that's the level of flavor and satisfaction you're getting. And I'm a big haichu guy. Specifically, the melon haichu. What do you think of that? Right off the bat, that is awfully good stuff. Some people say sake is the drink of the gods. Other people say beer is the drink of the gods. It sounds like the gods need to duke it out. And I can help them. Quiet on set, please. What is my next sake? The Emperor's Well Sake. Now this one is about 15% alcohol. Most of these sakes are about 15%. I will say it otherwise. Ooh, it says, look at this one. This one has a little thing. It says, serve this one chilled. No, wait. No, it says I can do whatever I want. It says I can serve it chilled, room temperature, lukewarm, or warm. Now, the other one was a Genjo, which means the rice is more polished. This one, I see no denotation of it. Oh, it's a Genjo as well. This one is not a Daigenjo or any denotation, but this one is a Genjo. So this one will be a little bit more polished. I bet we're going to see a bit clearer of a color, and look at that. Oh my goodness. This has an SMV of 0, and this looks almost identical to that one, except it's a little clearer. It's a little less yellow. I smell almost nothing. And don't worry, that's not COVID. Wow, that's much lighter. Significantly lighter. You can taste a little bit more of the alcohol, but a lot less fruit. That's very interesting. So it seems that the more you polish the rice, kind of takes away a bit of the depth, maybe? That could just be my virgin sake tasting doing me wrong. It really doesn't taste like much of anything. It just tastes like cold. It's cold that'll get you drunk. I gotta say, if they remarketed this as like White Claw Hyper to Americans, I mean, this would clean up. It's a little bit more viscous than White Claw, but that tasted like almost nothing. It had a little bit of an aftertaste of alcohol, of just like that slight little tiny bit of burn. But other than that, not much. And that was a Gold Award winner of the U.S. National Sake Appraisal. So shout out to them. Kanpai, we move on. Cheers to all you sake lovers. All right, now this is a Nigori Sake, which is coarse. And as you can see right off the bat, it is very, very thick and almost opaque. Ooh, look at that. It's got the consistency of, or the look of kind of, honestly, tea that you put a whole bunch of milk in. Now, I read on the label somewhere that this has tasting notes of marshmallow, or I could have read that online. Anyways, this says you gotta shake it. Okay, I shaked it, shook it, shaked it. And then I should enjoy this chilled. And this has an SMV of 11, so this is going to be super sweet. Yeah, I think online it said that it had some floral notes and it tasted of marshmallow. It kind of looks like if marshmallow was a drink. Marshmallow juice. Sake. Also no nose. Ooh! Wow. It's very interesting that this first one that I had was so fruity and melony and so floral that kind of rendered everything else a little less. I don't know. It's very interesting. This sake kind of tastes like the marshmallow Jelly Belly. There's a toasted marshmallow Jelly Belly, and it's like if you took a bunch of those Jelly Bellies and then milked them in the way you're supposed to milk things, which is, I believe, you soak them and squeeze them. You don't actually find the Jelly Belly udders. Despite being thick, I was expecting to be overwhelmed with sweetness. It's just very pleasant. It's a very pleasant sweetness of slight toasty marshmallow. I like this one a lot. It's also a fun container. It's pink. Who don't love pink? And it's October, too. We move on. This is the sake without an SMV. It is a sparkling sake, which I assume means you want to serve this one nice and chilled. Now, all these sakes are in the general same price point, which is kind of nice if you want to get a slightly fancier drink than beer, but you don't want to have the heaviness of a bottle of wine, because a bottle of wine is a bit of an ordeal, especially if you're alone and trying to pair it by yourself. These are all about $10 to $11. And that's all I gotta say about that. Now, this one has more of a nose than the middle two. It smells almost like a graham cracker. Ooh. Now that is the most intense flavor out of all of them. What am I tasting? I really don't even know what I'm tasting. It's very sweet, though. Almost a little like honeydew melon or watermelon. It's like if you mixed the green apple flavor of Jolly Rancher with a little bit of watermelon, you get this. This is extremely pleasant. If you're not a big fan of wines because they're too dry and not sweet enough, then you would love this. It's very Riesling-like, but it's like the most slate, mountainous Riesling I've ever had. And certainly a lot more sparkling. Now, I wouldn't necessarily pair this one with food. Maybe something super spicy, or perhaps maybe with some sort of dessert that I'm eating. A cheesecake, I think that would go kind of nicely with. That one is on its own in a summer day when you're wanting to get a bit of sake in you. Here is the final one. Now, unfortunately, my little corner store did not sell any high SMV sake, so I couldn't really do a comparison that way. So if you find any of those, comment below and let me know what you think. This one is a +2 SMV, and it's got a polishing rate of 65%. The other ones did not tell me what they were, so I cannot have that as a point of comparison. And the rice is Nagano rice. All right, now this is Kurosawa Sake. And it's the last one. It's the brownest of the bottles. So you can't accuse me of not being observant. That's very interesting. Most of the colors of these are very, very similar. This one is slightly more yellow than the rest of them. Again, it's more of the color of a Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, now this one smelled very similar to that pink boy over there. Marshmallowy. And what I mean by that is sweet and round. Okay, we have something that is completely different. Now this is only a +2 on the SMV scale, but it is significantly drier than any of the ones I've had so far. I like this one a lot. This one would pair really, really well with like a curry or something. It just scrapes off your tongue, and so you get ready for more of that chili spice. That's monumentally pleasant. Yeah, okay. I think we have my favorite, and it could just be that it's the last one. And I'm sufficiently soused that it has skewed my opinion. But if I am going to the store and picking up a sake, here's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get this one if I'm going to eat it with sushi or some sort of a spicy curry. I'm going to get this one, the sparkling one, if I just want to relax and have a nice drink. And then, And then, if I'm going to have it for dessert or an aperitif, I'm going to get this one. These other two are quite good, but I'm not entirely sure what I'd pair those with. If you happen to know, let me know below. That's all there is to know about sake. So, this has successfully piqued my interest in learning more about sake, and more of these kinds of videos to come. I've been dragging my feet on this one because I knew literally nothing about sake. I need to find a sake expert. If only I could find somewhere and snap my fingers and he appears out of nowhere. Maybe next time. Okay, thank you all for watching. You have a great night, and I'm going to finish the rest of these. Kanpai. Senpai. Hi.